Hey guys, welcome back. Today we have a canopy we're going to be building in the backyard here, and so you can see here this is where it's going to go. Basically it's going to be 30 feet this way and 20 feet this way, so 20 by 30. And here's all the steel over here on the trailer. We're getting ready to cut the columns, and we're going to drill the holes. And so stay tuned as we get this thing done. All right, here's Cherish. She's marking the columns. So they're going to go about 3 feet into the ground, and we're going to put some concrete in there. Cutting them right in the middle. We're going to be, it'll be tall enough to do that. I got a 24-foot stick, so we're just 12 feet. Gives us enough to put 3 feet in the ground and another 9 feet on the high side to do it. So it's just going to mark it out, take a grinder, and then cut it.
Yep.
Okay, just so you know guys, this is a 4x4 by 11 gauge. Plenty strong for this structure. Okay guys, let me introduce you to a little friend. This is a Ryobi 40 volt auger. And that's what we're going to use to drill the holes this morning. This is an awesome little tool to have, as you'll see. Let me set it up and I'll show you what it can do. And then I just take that and use a post hole digger to clean it out and then put the column in. All right, guys, you saw how fast that was. So go ahead and put the pole in.
In?
Yeah.
She told me that before I took it off my shoulder.
All right, that quick, guys. You saw how nice that auger is. Guys, so we got all the columns in the holes. We're just waiting on the concrete. My son's getting that from Lowe's, and we'll put 2 bags in each one. And then right here we got 2 C perlins. These are 8-inch C perlins, and technically we could have got away with 6-inch C perlins. 8-inch can span 25 feet, but we're only coming 20 feet. And what we're going to do is we're going to weld these together and make it a beam that's going to sit on top of the columns. All right, guys, what we're going to do, we're just going to clamp these together, weld them together, cut them to length, and then we're going to weld some clips up on top to mount the purlins up on top, to weld the purlins up on top. Makes it a lot easier after we do it. So let me show you how we're going to do it. We're going to cut them to 19.6.
Oh, I know you.
I see that. Good job. Good job. That's not a very big hole though. You want to dig that deeper?
No.
Axwood, you're happy with it?
Hold on, let me line them up. Okay.
You gotta double cut it. I forgot what sport we're going. Can't cut a line.
Yeah, that's good.
I hope James.
What's up?
Should we help James get the concrete bags over here first?
Got it, son, or
On what?
concrete?
Yeah.
All right, guys, just so you know, when you're clamping these beams together, you'll see that sometimes this one looks pretty flat, but you try to get them really flat right here, and if they're not even, just take a big rubber mallet or something, and you can just tap on it to get it, to make sure they're flat here. So before you weld. Okay, I got another tip for you guys. Get these red bags of Quikrete. They're called fast setting concrete mix. And you can just, if you notice down here, it says set post without mixing. Sets hard to 20 to 40 minutes. And that will save you a ton of time when putting up these columns. You don't have to wait till the next day and so forth. And they're really strong too, guys. It's not like you're sacrificing strength or anything. In fact, if you read at the bottom, it says it exceeds the compression strength requirements of ATSM C387. So these are really a great way to do it. You just pour it into the hole, and it says 1 gallon per bag. So it's very easy to do. I just throw 2 levels up here, get it level each way, and then I'm going to poke it real good once I pour the water to make sure the water gets way down in there. That's very important, because if you don't do that, sometimes the concrete at the bottom doesn't get a good mix. So make sure you poke it real good when you're doing it, either with a rebar. I'm using a sleever bar, but just do something to make sure you poke it. But that's a really good tip I can give you guys that really has worked out really well for me once I found out about these red bags. They're 50 pounds bags each. We got the beam welded together. Now we're going 19 foot 6 inches, and where it meets the wall, I want to cut a nice slope on it. On the other end, I'm just going to leave it straight. Now if you know what a 1/12 slope is, that's what we're going to do. But just in case you don't know what that means, it just means for every foot it drops an inch. So that's all we're doing. But I'm going to show you a quick way to mark that out here on this. So if you take this right here, your speed square, this right here is the number 1, and this is for your typical, your common. This is for hip and valley, so ignore that one. And we're going to bring it up, and we're going to line that number 1 up here, and that one right there. And then if you mark it here, that is a 1/12 slope here that we need for the cut. That's what I'll do, is I'll just slide this over. And I got my saw right here. You can cut this with a grinder. There's other ways to cut it, but I like using this. Makes it real easy. I made a video on this if you guys want to check that out, and I talk about some things, just why I use the big square here and stuff. But let me just get it lined up here. And there we go. Nice and straight. Now we'll just flip her over, cut the other side. Okay guys, so since the saw didn't cut quite all the way through, we'll just take the grinder and hit it right there. All right, the next thing we're going to do, guys, is just put a level line all the way around so we can get the height. Now, I'm using this Bosch Professional GCL 2-160 laser level, and the reason I use that one is because you're able to use a receiver with it, and in daytime it's real hard to see. So I'm just going to set up the receiver and mark it all the way around, and that way we have a level line to go off of. All right guys, I'm using this Bosch receiver. It's the LR8. It's been a really good receiver. I've been using it for years. The only thing I can tell you about this, it does eat batteries, and I notice if I leave my batteries in, it uses them up quicker. So what I do is I take the batteries out each time I use it. Just hit once, and then as you come up to the receiver, you'll see that it tells you up and down, and that way you can put your mark. So let's go ahead and we'll mark all the 4 posts here as we go. All right guys, so now we already got the beam welded together. We're just going to weld these clips on to we can weld the perlins too. And this is 19 feet 6 inches long. So I'm just dividing that by 4, which comes out to 4 foot 10 and a half. So by structural stability, you can't go over 5 feet with these purlins for your sheets to be screwed to. So as long as you're 5 foot and under, you're good to go. So she's going to start welding those on right now. All right, guys. Put my receiver up here. Okay, there's one, or actually 2 if you count the one that's over there. So let's get the third one.
Hey, are the copper sheets copper on the underside too?
No.
No?
Doubt it. And then finally the last one, guys. Okay, so that's all the marks, the level marks, and now we'll determine how much we need to cut. The way we're going to do that, I'll show you right now. What we're going to do, we want to come, since we have an 8-inch purlin and we have an 8-inch beam, we need to be 16 inches underneath. We got to subtract 16 inches to the top of the column, but we also need to subtract another at least 1.5 inches for the high rib of the sheet that's going to sit up on top. But I'm going to just subtract 2 inches, so that'll give me a total of 18 inches, and we're going to go just below these downspouts of the house. So right here, I got 20 inches to the very bottom, from the spout to the bottom of theirs.
There needs to be cut. Alright, tell me why I'm wrong. I'll tell you why I'm right. Hold on. So that is 18 inches below the gutter. 8 inches for your beam, 8 inches for your purlin, 2 inches for your sheet.
Now, give me a measurement from there to there.
From your laser mark to that one. No, if anything, I'll go down a half. Where's 48? Put me at 48.
All right, up a quarter.
Put me at 47 and a half. Yeah. Alright, got it.
Got it right there. Check it quick. All right, go guys. So this mark is the level mark right here. That mark up there is where we cut it. That gives us roughly about 18 inches below the gutter spout, which, because we got a beam of 8 inches, we got a purlin of 8 inches, and then we're adding another 2 inches below the deal for the sheet. So that'll shoot out over the sheets and then drain down the canopy and down onto the ground over here. So, and so now over here, we're gonna go, we went up 47.5, right? That would be our level mark up on top. So we want to drop, we're going 18 feet, we want to drop 18 inches from that. So 47.5 minus 18 inches is where we're going to cut this one. Now we're going to cut them on a slope again, a 1 on 12. We're going to use that same trick that I used for the square, the speed square that I showed you when we were cutting the purlin a while ago, or the beam when I did that. So we use the same trick to mark that out. Okay guys, over here on the low side, high side, we got 47.5 inches above the mark, the level mark. And so we're going to subtract 18 inches. It's going to give us 29.5 to this mark. So let's go ahead and mark that out. Alright guys, saw how I used the square here to give me that nice slope down. The 29.5 had to be on the outside, so that's why I squared it around first and then did the 1 on 12. Alright guys, now we got the all the columns cut. We got the beams built and we got all the clips welded on. So now what we're going to do is we set up the ladders. We're gonna stand the beams on top by hand, and then we're gonna just weld those in, and then we're gonna weld the purlins in. After that, we're done with the steel. Alright guys, we got he's welding up the one side. We pretty much got it up there. We're just gonna weld up the other side, and then we're just waiting for the sheets to arrive. Once we get that, I'll film the roof for you. But let me see if there's anything I can share with you. We're also gonna cap these ends, make a plate there for it. And as you can see, those clips are real nice just to put it up there, slam it up against, then weld it. It makes it real easy. And trying to think of any other tips that I can give you guys that we did out here that makes our life easier. You can also see that it makes it nice to clamp the clamp up right on that clip. And I guess that's it, guys, for today. We'll see you when we do the sheets. Hey guys, here's the sheets. And you notice these are PBR sheets. And basically what that means is a panel brace right here. So you see this comes over and lays down so that when it lays against the purlin, it doesn't flop down when you go to screw the other side. And then I'm going to show you a little what we do here. We get these sheets straightened up, bottom, make sure they're all even. We're going to be sheeting left to right, so this is our bottom. Because this one will go first. You always put the short side on top of this one when you do it. And then also, we're going to have 6 inches overhang, because that's 19.6, and these are 20-foot sheets. So we're going to take the tape measure, and we're going to mark out our first stitch screw, which will be at 6 inches. And then from there, we'll go every 20 inches from there. And on the roof, that's kind of what it recommends. So 20, 26, 46, all the way down. And we'll drill them, pre-drill them before we get up there. That way we get, when we're done with the roof, you'll see it looks perfectly lined with all your screws. It looks really good. Now on the sidewall, we usually go about 24 inches on the sidewall, but on the roof you want to go every 20. And since this is a canopy, we're not putting any rope caulking here, but on a metal building, you would go ahead and put rope caulking down it just to seal it up real good. So Cherish is going to start marking them out for me. 46 was the last one, so 66, 86, 106, just all on down the line as we do these right here. So we got 46 already marked, right? So go to 66, 86. And while she does that, I'm going to get the drill bit out. All right, guys, so what I have here is my little impact driver, and I just have I really like these bits. You might have seen my video on these. They're really nice. They're impact rated drill bits, and what I think they actually drill better than a regular one through these sheets, because it just impacts as it goes through. And so I just keep this, and I just have this gun. It makes life a little easier. I don't have to carry the drill and the impact. Of course, I always have a drill on the truck just in case I need it. But here we go. So let me start drilling these. Let's see what I'm talking about here. I just drill a whole stack at one time. Now, you don't usually want to drill more than 10 sheets at a time. You gotta be careful of not breaking the bit off inside of it. The other thing you need to do is make sure you're kind of straight here, because if you're angled, your last sheet, the hole be offset. So you want to keep that hole as straight as possible as you drill. Start putting them on the roof. We have to go ahead and gear up, get our tool belt on, get our screws and all that good stuff. Once we get all that going on, we'll be ready to sheet. Now you're going to notice over here, all I got is a ladder. It's nice to have a little platform or something to do it, but we can get about 2 sheets at each time, hand them up, and then I'll move the ladder each time. So it's doable. It's not too bad. So let's gear up. All right, guys, just geared up for sheeting. We're gonna start putting the sheets up on top. Just so you know, there's two types of screws when you do these, okay? You have, these are I call them steel screws, but they're called Tech screws. And these go in from the sheet to the steel. And you'll notice they're a lot longer. And the threads are almost the same, a little tiny bit bigger than the drill point. And then, for when you're drilling sheet to sheet, I call these stitch screws. I don't know the technical name for them, but you notice they kind of taper with the threads, and then they get fatter, and the drill point's is smaller than the threads. And the reason for that is it holds that metal to metal, which is a lot thinner than going into the steel, and that's why you got to use those. So when you see just metal to metal, the thin sheet to thin sheet rather, these are the ones you use. When you're going from the sheet to the actual purlin, the steel up there, these are the long ones you use. And I know a lot of you don't know that, but just in case somebody might be wondering about that. And then also what I'm using today is the Occidental leather tool belt. This is called the Comfort Belt, and I just got some cheap suspenders. These are mellow tough, but they work good. And then I also picked up this drill holster on Amazon. It actually has the clip for tough belt, but it's called the D-Nash 11.5 drill holster, and I found it. I like it because it's got a really good tick clip on it, and it's got some here for the pencils, and it's also got two big here for other things as well. And then on this side, I'm just using the tough belt. This is the construction, I forgot what this one's called, but I'll link it in the description. But I like it because it's got all the different pockets for the different screws that we're running today, and that's what I'm using today. So so if you're curious. Okay guys, here we are. We're just starting to get the sheets on here. That first sheet can be a little tough. They're kind of long, as you can see. She's having to move the sawhorses kind of out of the way there, but we get it up there. We're gonna, just slide it up. That's one thing good about these sheets. They're 26 gauge, and they're very high tensile strength, and so they're really strong. And so you can see we're working it. We get it up there, and we're just gonna start with that first high rib right in the center with the end of the steel. That way we know it's 30 feet wide. The center of high rib to center of high rib of each sheet is exactly 3 feet. So 3 feet times 10 is 30 feet. So it's going to take 10 sheets across there, and it should come out pretty good if we do everything right. And so here we are. We're just putting up the sheets, getting them all on, and it went really well. We're afraid the wind might get us, but fortunately we were able to get all the sheets up pretty fast. And then you'll notice we also got some trim there that we put on as well, which came out really nice when everything was said and done. Guys, I'm back over here at the shop, but just wanted to thank you for joining us today doing this canopy. It's 20 by 30. I hope if you got any comments you want to talk about, maybe some suggestions of how maybe you've done it before and what's helped you, I'd love to hear from you. We're always learning from each other, and so I hope you can draw something from this, the way we do it as well. And guys, again, always have a great day, and I'll see you on the next episode.